Okay, so we played 3 matches. We won one, we lost two. Played against very controlling decks, which, the equation mid-range beats aggro, control beats mid-range most of the time. So, that's just how it goes sometimes. I haven't been, I've been playing Magic Online a bit in the last couple of weeks, and I haven't been really seeing much of those decks, but I guess they're out in full force tonight, but that's okay. It happens. I think this deck has a lot of potential, more so than the last couple of decks we've looked at. I think there's a lot of great stuff in this deck. I think Arlinn is a great card. I think Arlinn in combination of Goblin Dark Dwellers and Sylvan Advocate is very strong. Dark Dwellers themselves are really good. I think what this deck lacks is some answers to controlling matchups in the main board and sometimes on the sideboard. I think Lost Legacy can be a good card in this deck for things like Aetherworks Marvel. I think that doesn't hit Artifacts Lost Legacy. Let's find out. I got a couple of them. Lost Legacy. So non-artifact, non-land. So it can get rid of Ulamogs, which is good, and any other big creatures that might cause us problems. I think that's one of the big things it's missing is like being able, like in modern Jund, do you have tools like Thoughtseize and Inquisition of Kozilek to pick apart the opponent's hand? That is very powerful, very early game. Fortunately, we don't have those, so we need to kind of find a way to get around that. Lost Legacy is one way. There was that other card in Origins that was much better. I can't remember what the name of it is off the top of my head, but I think it was basically anything except for a land, which was awesome, but we don't have that. There's probably some other hand disruption things out there that we could look at, which I think might be needed. Other than that, I think the Combustible Gearhulk can be changed out. Maybe main deck Noxious. I don't think that's right. I think maybe Verduous Gearhulk. Verduous? I don't know. Whatever it is. The green one. I think that one's very powerful and it's just a good threat off the bat. This one's also a good threat, but the effect, I hate that the effect is chosen by the opponent. That kind of sucks. But what can you do? Sin Prodder did good work when we got it out there. I was pleasantly surprised. The one game we did get it out, draw us a couple lands, which is not a big deal, but 2 cards a turn, pretty good. Yeah, all the removal with Goblin Dark Dwellers is good. The Fatal Pushes weren't very good. We didn't fight any vehicle, like Mardu vehicles or anything, where they would have been good. So I think it didn't really show off the potential. Obviously, everybody knows Fatal Push is a good card, but we didn't really get a chance to display it. Maybe the Grasps could be changed for something else. Maybe like Murder or something else. I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that. I think we definitely want to put man lands in here, the black-green, because the synergy with the Sylvan Advocate. Also, you can animate it and then give it +2/+2 with Arlinn Kord, which can be pretty powerful because the green-black one has Death Touch, which is awesome. Yeah, so I think there's some room for improvement. I like the core of this deck. If I was, I actually have some of this deck, like most of the cards for this deck, ready in paper, which is what I was kind of working on originally for my FNM standard fun just go out and play some Magic type deck. I don't think it's tier 1. I think it'd be tier 2 for sure, and I think it can definitely take some wins off the tier 1 decks, especially decks like like the Mardu vehicles with all the removal. Definitely think it could win against a favorable matchup against that. Also the black-green deck I think it could do really well against. The Saheeli combo, possibly. We do have a lot of removal for, the Felidar Guardian, and with some tuning it could do really well. So yeah, I was hoping we'd run into those decks tonight, but we didn't, and that's just how it goes sometimes. So I think some things we need to change are making it more resilient against the Dynavolt Tower mainly spells decks that are out there. But other than that, I think it's a pretty solid base, and I would definitely play this deck in paper, which I probably will eventually. I'll probably build it and see how it does outside of the online environment, because everybody's, like I said, or I haven't said it, but like lots of people have said, if you read Magic stuff online, like the online metagame is always really competitive. Because it's for the most part, it's cheaper than paper Magic. So a lot of times you're going to run into very good decks online that you probably wouldn't see in your local LGS, local game store, local game store. But it's like ATM, automatic teller machine, the ATM machine. But Yeah, I think the Natural Obsolescence is a much better, just thinking about it, is a much better sideboard card than the Natural State, because most of the good artifacts are over 3 mana anyways. But yeah, so like I said, your local metagame might shift. You know, people like I watch a lot of videos and I read a lot of stuff about brew decks and stuff like that, and I'm always like, oh, this deck would never work against insert meta tier 1 deck here. But you got to remember that at your local playgroup or your local FNM or Standard Showdown or whatever you may play at in paper, you could do really well because a lot of people might not be playing those decks because a lot of them are really expensive. Like I can't remember off the top of my head how expensive Gideons are, but they're ridiculous. And the Liliana, stuff like that. All those staples are really expensive, and people just don't want to pay that. You know what I mean? So this deck could work out really well. But anyways, thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any current concerns, comments. I know, there's obviously going to be play mistakes. This is maybe my fifth games with this deck. I warm up a little bit, but obviously mistakes are made. But anyways, thanks for watching, and have a good night.